Hi, this is Nawaz on how to generate leads via Facebook. Did you know nearly 2 billion potential prospects are on Facebook? Facebook currently boasting over 1.86 billion members across the globe with an average of 17% increase year after year. It's perhaps a little wonder that more and more businesses are now turning to the social media platform Facebook in order to generate more leads. So what's the best way of generating more leads for you using Facebook? You know the old saying, first impressions count? Well, they really do. First impressions do really count. So you need to make sure your business profile is as captivating as possible whilst also sending out an immediate message to your captive audience. With Facebook's recent advancements, you can now add a video profile, so why not show off some of your work or perhaps say hello in person with a brief description of the service or products that you are able to offer. By giving your business page that added personal touch, you'll certainly appeal to more viewers who eventually will convert into paying clients or customers for you. Tell your prospects and customers more about you. Always be sure to provide a high visible direct link to your website and make sure that it's as engaging as possible. Again, try and add that personal touch where you can make sure that the About Us page of your website as well as on your Facebook page is detailed as possible. You need to engage with your potential customers and prospects to make sure they know as much about you and your business as possible. Why not look at the competitors' websites and make comparisons and think about what you could do better personally? How could you make your business page more appealing over that of any of your competitors' pages? Understanding direct and indirect leads on Facebook. Once your prospects have shown an interest in your business, you'll then need to connect with your followers. Facebook easily enables you to capture two different types of leads, direct leads and indirect leads. So what's the difference, you might be asking? Mo, please explain. Direct leads are basically generated by sharing certain content which links directly back to your website. In other words, if you write a post or a blog on your website, you can share that on Facebook and the link comes straight back to your website. This could take a number of different forms, whether it's a free voucher that you're providing for them to entice them to part with their email address, or a special offer including competitions or other offerings such as a free ebook to promote your service or product in exchange for an email name and address. These type of leads are ideal since they enable you to follow up on your customer experience, e.g. did they enjoy their free voucher that you gave them or a discount voucher, or how was their customer experience? How did they find the ebook that you gave them in exchange for the email address? Is there anything further you can provide? You get the general idea by now, I'm sure. Once you have their email address, it's up to you to build up trust and credibility with your prospects by creating value at every time you send an email to them. You need to remember the golden rule. Give at least 7 times before you ask for anything in return, like making an offer of any kind. Most people try and sell the moment they get hold of that prospect's email address. They bang and start sending out offers of one form or another. What you're really doing by that is asking the subscriber to hit that unsubscribe button as quickly as possible. You need to build trust and credibility at least 7 times the value to give them before you ask for anything in return. So create value with the first 7 email messages, and then only can you even try and make an offer. Indirect leads, on the other hand, are generated through conversion. Let's say, for example, that you've shared a blog post that had a call to action to your landing page at the bottom of the post. This initial Facebook share is then helped direct potential customers straight to your page. To ensure you get maximum impact, because let's be honest, you'll probably only get one shot of this. You need to make sure that your imagery is striking and quickly captures the attention of the person who has just landed on your site or even is about to read your post or blog on Facebook. To achieve this, try and think outside of the box a bit. Can you make your business imagery a bit quirky or fun? Dull adverts won't attract much, if any, attention, so try and think of ways to make it stand out from the crowd. Dare to be different is the word. Another great idea is to clearly signpost the reader as to where they're going. This might sound basic, but the last thing you want to do is confuse the reader and lose their interest. So be sure to use basic phrases such as enter the competition by clicking here, attaching a direct link on the here button where it says here so that it's made as simple as possible for them to do a transaction with you. No one likes searching around a website trying to find what they want, so make sure you don't fall foul of this. Users can all too quickly lose interest and click away to another site, which will most likely be your competitor's site. So what are you doing to keep them on your site until they hit the purchase button? Use legal images or royalty-free images. Another critical thing to remember is not to use material that's already copyrighted. You could very easily end up being prosecuted. If you're not using your own images, then make sure that you're royalty-free. It's easy enough to do a Google search to establish what you can and can't use. If in doubt, don't use it. Using Facebook Live. So once you've engaged the reader, the potential customer, you need to keep things interesting for them. Static websites can be boring, so be sure to keep it updated with all the latest news and offers as and when they happen. Utilize your CTA call to action potential with tempting headlines, and if you're brave enough, why not try using Facebook Live as an option? This relatively new platform allows you to broadcast live videos from your mobile phone and straight to your news feed. It certainly makes for fun and spontaneous options, but be sure to think it through before you go live. The last thing you need is unexpected mishaps, since you'll be streaming to potential customers in real time. No rehearsals here. You could also use this platform to do live questions and answer sessions, thus attracting further interest in what you do and exactly what you're able to offer to your target market. As you use the platform, you'll also be able to see who's watching, so be sure to acknowledge them and say hello or hi when they come online, and don't forget to repeat vital messages you want to get across, since people are likely to be logging on and off simultaneously. How to create a call to action button on Facebook. Another great way to connect with potential customers is to add a CTA, a call to action button, to your business Facebook. This easy tool helps drive more traffic from Facebook directly to your website. All you do is choose from 7 different options and then link it back to your website. The options include contact us, book now, etc. If you look down there, you will find more. To do this, simply click the Create a Call to Action button, which should be at the top of your page, directly to the left of your like button. Next, choose your Call to Action option. Input the link to the CTA you want to use and click Next. You'll then be asked to select a destination for your mobile users. You're then ready to go. How to track your audience with a simple UTM code with Facebook. To make sure you keep firmly ahead of the game, why not monitor how many users are expressing an interest in your business? Simply, all you need to do is attach a unique UTM tracking code to your URL, also better known as a cookie. Alternatively, you can kick back and let Facebook do all the work for you. The relevant Facebook cookie is capable of tracking all the action that takes place on all your web pages. Just head over to your Ads Manager page and navigate to Pixels, which you'll find under Assets. This handy tool will always tell you the number of clicks you've had in your past 7 days, so it's super easy to keep an eye on if you haven't got time to monitor it yourself. It even provides you with a user-friendly graph showing all the current trends. I know you are thinking, Mo, you are giving us so much value for free. Why? It's in my DNA to serve you and others. How to ask for feedback. Another great way of engaging with potential customers is to invite feedback on your services or your products. You can do this quite easily by linking the request to a landing page. The obvious downside of all this is the possibility of receiving negative feedback, which will then be made public, so be sure to respond to any such comments as quickly as possible. On the upside, it will show your customers that you genuinely care about the service and products that you provide. So it's certainly not a bad thing when you consider the bigger picture. Speak to people who attend all your events and ask them for their feedback. Have you considered using webinars using Facebook? If your business is the type where a webinar might prove useful, i.e. for coaching, consulting, training and so on, then why not consider running one from your Facebook page? You can do this by creating an event and inviting people along by completing a simple registration form. The benefits of this are twofold. Firstly, you're offering a free advice service whilst also answering any potential questions from prospects and customers, and you'll also capturing customer contact details in the registration of the webinar. So when somebody registers for the webinar, they have to register their name and their email details. So it's another way of generating leads for your customers, for your potential prospects. Once you've run the webinar, you can then get in touch to ask for feedback, invite ideas for the next webinar and so on. What's more, if you're going to be running webinars on a regular basis, you can use the events tab to share the information. That way, everyone visiting your page can scroll through your upcoming events and express an interest to see whether they will attend or not. It really is a great way to engage with both existing and potential customers. How to target your prospects on Facebook. Of course, engaging with your customers is one thing, but extending your potential client base is entirely another. Luckily enough, Facebook has got this covered too, and now has the capability of expanding your reach to brand new audiences. The key objectives, of course, is to convert followers into paying customers. To achieve this, Facebook offers the option to target people differently. For example, it can target your adverts to people based on criteria such as their age, location, gender, or simply their interests. How to get the most out of your Facebook adverts. Basically, there are 5 key formats for advertising: boosted posts, right-hand column ads, news feeds, lead ads, and email gating. Let's take a look into each one of those in detail, shall we? First of all, we'll start with the boosted posts. Whilst Facebook will charge a nominal fee for boosting your adverts, it basically gives you a much better reach by showing your ads to other users or a much wider audience. You can even select your chosen targets ahead of time so that your adverts get seen exactly where and when you want it. Perhaps surprisingly, Facebook are even able to assist targeting the right audience through the use of demographics, interests and behaviors, e.g. the type and size of businesses, location, etc. Interest targets can be particularly useful if you're unsure as to specific demographics. For example, it can look at what books or magazines your target audience read, any associations or groups they might belong to, or contacts that you may have with your key competitors. When you set up your Facebook ads, you have the option to group several filters together to increase the audience target size. Alternatively, you can narrow the scope down by making the criteria more specific. It's amazing what you can find out, so be sure to do your homework on this before you get started. Next is the columns that you get on the right hand side. You probably have noticed these every time you log onto your Facebook account. They're basically adverts which appear as the name suggests on the right hand side of Facebook page. Again, if you're using these, then you need to maximize your call to action potential by making it as interesting and eye-catching as possible. Next are the newsfeed ads. These type of ads appear directly on your newsfeed and can also include a call to action as an option. If you're promoting your business in this way, then it's a good idea to keep the advert short and snappy, something that your potential customers will want to read and not simply scroll past. It's also vital to keep the newsfeed updated so that customers know the information is fresh and up to date. Next is the lead ads. Leads ads are slightly different as so far as they enable users to sign up for lead generation offers and content without even leaving Facebook. How? Put simply, the forms auto-populate information, making it super easy for mobile users since they don't have to fiddle around populating their information into a small screen. All you do is choose your ad, set your target and your customer form fields. It's really that simple. Email gating. This does exactly what it says on the tin. It guards your data and won't unlock until the user has given you his or her email address. So whether it's an ebook, a case study or how to use guide, make sure you have to get through the gates. In other words, they have to verify their email address. It's like a double opt-in. Building trust with prospects and customers. So equipped with loads of great ideas to promote your business on Facebook, now you're ready for step 2, and that's gaining your prospects and customers' trust. If you're dealing with some online as opposed to in person, then you're already faced with the challenge of putting a face to the name. That's one of the main reasons why it's important to have a good profile picture and About Us page on your website as well as on your Facebook profile. You need to convey as much information as you possibly can to your online customers so that they have a feel for what you're about and ultimately remain confident that they can trust you. A few of the basic points to get across are your business details, registered office address, company registration number if you're a limited company, telephone number, email address, website details and insurance if necessary. It's also useful to have a few customer testimonials available, complete with their contact details if that's possible. That way, you're immediately assuring the customer that you're a trusted member of your profession. Another good idea to establish trust is to share information about your day-to-day activities. And if you add the odd funny tale, all the better. If customers feel as though they can gain a glimpse of your life and perhaps some of your staff who work with you, they'll usually bond with the business a lot quicker. And of course, funny stories are a great icebreaker next time you make contact with the customer. Next, knowing your customer. Most of all, it's important to know your customer, otherwise referred to as a KYC. The more you know, the more value you can add. The more value you can add, the more attractive you become compared to your competitors. And it doesn't have to be hard work. If your customer is on Facebook, chances are that they'll also show their date of birth, so why not send a birthday greeting? You can do this all online without having to physically post a birthday card, or without having them think you're stalking them. Or you can even ask about a recent event they might have attended. It not only shows that you're interested, but also gives you a great insight into their lifestyle and ways your business might be able to go that extra important mile for them. Next is to set a budget for your Facebook advertising. Of course, whilst it's critical to maintain a presence on Facebook, you also need to consider your budget for online advertising. Ideally, you should set a specific weekly, monthly amount to use and then stick to it. Most important, you must first of all understand and work out what you are prepared to pay to acquire per client. What is the lifetime value of a client for you, and what does it cost you currently to acquire a client? Most people I speak to haven't a clue what it costs them to acquire a client. So if you don't know what it's currently costing you to acquire a client, how will you know how much you are prepared to pay to acquire a new client? If you're looking to run an ad campaign, then make sure you promote it over a set period of time and focus on whatever your objectives might be, e.g. increase website clicks, getting conversions, building up a mailing list, lead generation, brand building. You'll be able to choose your objectives from the campaign page on Facebook, which will basically walk you through all the options. It's also advisable to test the water with a trial campaign using different images, texts and offers. Some campaigns will naturally be more successful than others, so it's important to determine from the get-go what does and doesn't work for your company. Again, where possible, engage your customers to invite feedback Whether it's good or bad, you can then use the information to make the next campaign more appealing, and best of all, you'll prove to your customers that you're receptive to new ideas and concepts. Once you get to the optimize section, Facebook defaults to the goals you've selected for your campaign and optimizes it for you. So for example, if you've got a pixel, i.e. cookie, set up to track when customers convert from your website, Facebook will serve your adverts to those people more likely to click. It really is quite clever technology. Another option you'll be able to select is exactly when your advert campaign runs. If you're a 9 to 5 business, then you schedule your ad to run purely between these hours. Alternatively, it can run 24 hours a day, which can particularly prove to be useful if you're targeting customers from abroad or from different time zones. Again, it's all about trial and error until you start getting statistical information on your success rate. Beyond that, you can start to tailor it accordingly. So whilst it may take a little time to get going, it's certainly going to be worth it in the end for you. Most of the time, you'll probably want to run with the standard level of delivery. But remember, if there's something in the pipeline, such as forthcoming webinars, you can ask Facebook to run it on accelerated delivery. Either way, you can keep up to speed with the response rates by logging onto your Facebook Ad Manager for all the latest information and keep a track of all your advertising budgets and campaigns. It's so important that you know your numbers before advertising on Facebook. Remember, before you go live, have a good think about what data you might want to monitor. For example, the click-through rate, which is the CTR, for an indication of how interested your audience is in your ad. This is an indicator will show how interested your audience is in your advertisement. The number of website clicks you generate, how many website conversions you'll achieve and the cost to achieve each one, how many times each person has seen your advert on average. Remember to keep it interesting to prevent boredom from creeping in. To identify the best performing audience, simply look for the highest CTR conversion, relevant score and lowest cost per conversion. You can then consider increasing your budget on the best performing campaign until it's performing at a level you're happy with. Remember, you've also got to effectively handle the work once it starts coming in. If you decide to change any variables, make sure you do it one at a time to ensure you don't lose sight of what appeals to your target audience. In other words, what's working and what's not. So don't try and change the price, the headlines and the image all in one go. Test one thing at a time so you know which one is making the best effect and which one is optimizing the best for you. If you try and change 2 or 3 or 4 things in one go, you will never know what triggered it to go up or what triggered it to go down. Simply changing one element could make all the difference, so keep a careful eye on what works best for both you and your business. In essence, Facebook is a brilliant way of generating leads for your business and does most of the hard work for you. With easy to read statistical information and so many options on how to reach your target audience, the possibilities are endless. What's more, once you're fully up and running, you can then start nurturing new relationships with all those new leads and followers. Beyond that, you can also set up an email marketing system so that all your emails go out automatically, leaving you to do what you do best by setting up autoresponders. And that's running your business without having to worry about attracting new leads. What could possibly be more perfect than that? I want you to sit down, get a pen and paper out and work out how much does it cost you currently to acquire a client. Okay? How much time, effort, resources, money, advertising, telephone calls, all that put together, how much is it costing you currently to bring in a new client? Okay, this is your homework. And then work out how much you are prepared to pay to acquire per client. Once you understand how much it's costing you to acquire a client, it'll become a lot easier to understand how much you need to spend to acquire a client. For myself, I'm happy to pay up to £3,000 to acquire a client, which means if I want to accelerate, I can go out to accountancy firms, law firms who deal with corporate clients and say, hey, each time you give me an introduction and that introduction converts, I'm happy to give you £3,000. So that opens up a floodgate for me. So what does it cost you to acquire a client, and what are you prepared to pay per client? Well, this is the end of this session. I hope you've managed to glean some insights about Facebook advertising, and you've taken a few gold nuggets that you will put into practice to help you earn some money on Facebook. This is Nawaz from mentor.biz.